Hey. What up, YouTube? How's everybody doing tonight? Despite the smile on my face, I am not happy, but we gonna get into that in a minute. Anybody in the stream? If there's anybody on the stream, tell me if my mic sounds nice. Doing a little microphone check. 1, 2. What is this? You know what I'm saying? But how's everybody doing tonight? I hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you all had a great holiday weekend. I want to know what y'all did for the holiday. Did you go to a cookout? Anybody cook anything? What y'all had to eat? Let me know. Let me know in the chat. Let's start it off with that. Before I even get to what the topic is, and y'all see the title. Y'all see the title. Sad news here in Cleveland. But that's, you know what? We'll get to that in a second. But I hope everybody had a nice holiday. I sure did. I actually got a chance to relax. I know I said that I was going to be doing a video over the weekend, and I'm still going to do a recording for this week. I haven't chose my topic yet. I actually have been bouncing around between a couple of topics, and so I wanted to take some time to really think about it and get my notes going. I wanted to get my notes going so that I can decide which one that I wanted to do. And, you know, I'm going to do them all, but which one I wanted to do first and all that. And to be quite honest, I just took some time to relax this weekend, you know. It was a nice long weekend, and I made it semi-productive, but I also was just like, you know what? I need to chill out, chillax, relax, all those sorts of things. So that's what I did. So let me know what you all did for your weekend. How did you spend it? Was it good? Hope so. Here's what we are going to do first. We're going to start it off how we always do. Candle of the evening, candle of the night. I've been using this candle because this is the candle I've been lighting. And as I said before, I had actually been experimenting with this candle. Has 2 different scents in it, but they're both perfume kind of floral scents. And so I'm getting into this second one, and I'm seeing how it merges with the first. And it's got my space really smelling good. So I'm going to light it up on here right now, just so it can be going on in the background. I'm really enjoying this candle. At first I had just made it as just a little, you know, experimental candle. I really didn't anticipate on lighting it simply because I did it in this crystal glass, but I was able to light it, and it hasn't, you know, messed up or anything like that. So I'm just enjoying it. And the 2 scents I put in there, J'adore by Dior, and then Baccarat Rouge 54. And they smell amazing, especially as I'm getting into this little mix. I really like it. So y'all check us out, curatedScents.llc.com, and I'm gonna hop right into what we talking about. So I wanted to wait. At first I was gonna do a reaction directly after the 3rd game, but after watching that 3rd game, especially with it being here in Cleveland, 3rd game being the Cavs versus the Knicks, that is, I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait. I thought about doing a live right before the game, and something told me, you know what? Go ahead and wait. And I'm glad I did wait, because the 4th game was no different from the 3rd game, which was no different from the 2nd game, which was no different from the 1st game. We lost. Now, what was different is in this 4th game, we lost by almost 40 points. And this is absolutely embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. This is not how we are supposed to make a showing as a team, especially after making it this far to the Eastern Conference Finals, that is. And before I get too deep into it, super pause, but before I get, you know, too deep into talking about us negatively, I do want to take a second to say, hey, good job on the Cavs for making it at least to the Eastern Conference Finals. At the beginning of the season, especially after last season, we were looking to make it further than just a second round exit. We did, and we should be congratulated for making it that far. Now, we had a rough season. Our expectations were high. I thought that we were going to come out and have a better showing for our season this year. We still played, pretty well in terms of our record. Let me look up our record right quick. So we went 52-30, which we had a much better season last year. Last year being the 2024-2025 season where we were in first place. But you know what? 52 wins, not terrible. Could have been better. Definitely could have been better. But I commend us for getting that number, right? Now, we were fourth in the East. I thought that we probably should have tried to get better seating. And I still stand by that. I still stand by that sentiment. I think that there were definitely some games where we took off because we wanted to play the seeding game. We wanted to play the matchup game. And we did get the matchups that were semi-favorable to us. I think where we messed up, I got to just say it. I think where we messed up is, we played the seeding game, but at the same time, we took some people for granted. We took Toronto for granted. I think we thought that it was just going to be an easy win. And me personally, I did not think that because during the regular season, they beat us quite a few times. I actually went to a game where Toronto beat us at home. And it was scary. It was spooky. It was like, what is going on right now? Like, what am I watching? I am not watching real basketball. And I'm going to leave it there because I'm going to get back to it in a minute. But then, so we beat them, but it took us 7 games. Okay, so we make it out the first round. Second round, we get our matchup against the number 1 seeded Detroit Pistons. And now here is where I thought, okay, this is the best possible outcome for us because, we don't want to see Boston. Boston had our number this year as well. And Boston was playing some crazy good basketball, especially at the end of the year when they got Jason Tatum back. But, Jaylen Brown, he was in the MVP talks for his performances over the year. And they were the number 2 seed. And then number 3 seed, New York Knicks, who are moving on to the finals. We didn't want to see either one of those teams in the second round. And so we went up against Detroit Pistons. Now, we split the season series against them. They won 2, we won 2. But, I thought we matched up against them well. And we did. We won in 7 games. Now on to the Eastern Conference Finals. We go up against the number 3 seed New York Knicks, who we didn't want to see initially, which is why I think we tried to solidify that 4th seed instead of trying to make a push and moving up. And we lost in 4 games. Now there's a number of reasons for that. I'm going to start with the whole. So the team, but not just the team, but the circumstances as a whole. 1 second, because I got my boy in the background. I told him to do a mic check for me, so I think he just either hit me back or okay, cool. Yep, he hit me back. Cool. So appreciate it, dog. Thank you for letting me know in the background. He said my mic sounds nice. That's what we like to hear. My mic sounds nice. I hope it sounds crispy. I got to go back and watch this, post live. But anyway, I'm going to talk about the performance as a whole, but not just the team whole, pause, but the circumstances. So here's the circumstances. Okay. I talked about how, we underestimated the Toronto Raptors. I think that we thought it was going to be a walk in the park, and they showed up like a real 5 seed. They showed up in a series where it's the 4 seed versus the 5, and they showed up like a real 5 seed. They showed that there is not much difference between those two teams. The difference was home court. That was the difference. And we did our job in that series by protecting home court. But here's the problem. We went to 7 games. When you go to 7 games, there's a lot of factors that play in. It means you weren't able to win on the road, which is what happened in that series. We were not able to win on the road. We were able to protect home court, and that's how we were able to move on. But as I said before, 7 games. 7 games is a long amount of time to be playing basketball. When you're looking at some of these other teams, let's say New York, you have not 1, but 2 7-game series under your belt. You have now played 2 weeks of basketball. 2 weeks. And that's of games. Now, you're trying to go up against a team who, now they did go to 6 games in their first round, but the second round, 4. So there's a whole lot of rest that they were able to get that you were not able to get. And it's very hard to gain momentum. It's very hard to find the energy and very hard to put forth that effort in order to get to the finals after having 2 back-to-back 7-game series. It's very difficult, very difficult. Excuse me. Now, here's the other part. When you got 2 7-game series back-to-back, there's a lot of film for other teams to watch. So now they can make a game plan on how to stop you. The quicker you win these games, really the more fear you're about to put into some of these other teams, because they're going to be like, whoa, man, how do we stop that? But if you've gone to 7 games, especially 7 games twice, you now have given the other team plenty of material to look and pick out weaknesses, figure out who needs to be the X factor, figure out where you're lacking, where they can attack. And that is basically what you saw from New York. New York was like, oh, we got this in the bag. Now, let's talk about, moving up into the Eastern Conference Finals. That game 1. In game 1, we were up 24 points with like 9 or 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And they gave away the game. They handed it to them. New York had a 0.1 chance of winning that game. That means the Cavs had a 99.9% chance of winning the game. And here it is. You just gave the game away to them. You gave it away to them. What does that do to your team mentally as you prepare for the next game? So they see that their best shot was not good enough. Their best shot was not good enough. And I called it. I called it that very night. I said, if you can get them to, push forward, if you can get them in this first game, the Cavs, that is, if you can steal game one, that's your best shot. And they couldn't do it. They couldn't do it. They allowed the Knicks to get into a rhythm. They allowed the Knicks to formulate their offense. And the Knicks came up with backup plans, as we saw throughout the rest of the season. The rest of the series, So game two, they said, okay, well, Brunson beat us in game one. The Brunson burner beat us in game one. Game two, we're going to try and not let him score. And you know what happened? They let everybody else score. So Brunson didn't even have to do much. Game three, Brunson did his thing, but he only had to do his thing when needed. That team is riding a confidence high right now, and game three should have been a game where the Cavs come out swinging. You are at home, and they got embarrassed in that game three at home. I'm going to look it up. Hold on. I want to say they lost by like 20. I am pretty sure they lost by 20. Almost. They lost 121 to 108. So that's pretty much a butt whooping. And in that game, I saw no effort. And here's the problem with that. It'd be one thing if we lost by, that much and it had been effort. But here it is. You're on your home court walking. You're on your home court. Jalen Brunson runs the ball through 5 people and they all stop. To the point where the announcer was like, is their controller broken? Did they just freeze mid-game? What just happened? This is not how you want to perform for the fans. This is not how you want to represent yourself, especially in this city. And you can't do that. You can't do that. And I'm talking to the team as a whole. I'm not picking out one person yet. Oh, it's coming. Pause. It's coming. But I'm not picking out one person just yet. That was a whole team debacle. And in this game 4, we saw more of the same. You either see guys and they're hustling because it's like, well, let's at least get a game. But what kind of mentality is that? Because in your mind, it's like, all right, we're down 3-0. No team has ever come back from being down 3-0. And, we should at least try to get a game. That's a losing mindset already. So it's like, you can't even win for losing. And you could just tell by the body language of everybody from the start. Maybe except Donovan Mitchell, but from everybody else from the start of this game tonight, you could see it. They didn't want it. And that has been kind of how I have felt the entire playoffs. It's like we have needed crunch time in order to perform. And what they don't understand is this is the playoffs. Every time it's crunch time. You should not be looking at these series as 7 game series. You should be looking at these how they do in college. We have to win one game after the next to stay alive. And I think that is part of the reason why they weren't able to get a game in this Eastern Conference Finals. They did not look at each game as win or go home. You saw that in the other series. You saw that in their posts online. In their posts online, Cavs Instagram post. We've been here before. Let's rally around the troops. We can do it. Now, I respect the fact that, they're trying to get the fans engaged and keep everybody's spirits up. But no. To be quite honest with you, if I worked for the Cavs marketing team, I'm not making a post. I'm not doing it. You get paid to do it, but send me to the Cavs locker room, and we all gonna have us a chat. But here's what I want to talk about first, right? Here's what I want to talk about first. It all starts with the man running the team, Kenny Atkinson. This is for you. You need to pack your bags. You need to pack your bags. Either pack your bags or step down and let somebody who is a real coach be the head coach. You are an assistant coach. You're not head coach material. And why do I say that? I say that because of Kenny Atkinson's comments after Game 3. It starts with him. Excuse me while I struggle stream, y'all. I'll be right back. I'm about to pull it up. All right, I think I got it. Here we go. On Super Struggle Streaming. Here we go. Before I even get to Iman Shumpert's comments, because Iman Shumpert made some comments. Y'all go and follow Iman Shumpert. I got that from his page. But listening to that, I'm sitting there and I'm going, what did he say? What did he say? What did you say? He said, well, if you look at the analytics give us an expected score. And if you look at the expected score, we won 2 out of the 3 games. And, I know everybody is focused on the outcome, but we've got to look at the analytics and the expected score. And what? Even in your answer, you didn't make no sense. That's why you kept pausing and doing this and searching for bullshit to come out your mouth. What was that? What was that? What do you expect your players to do when you are talking like that. Well, yeah, this is what I told the guys, and yeah, they got to keep their heads up because in the delusional realm, they actually won 2 out of the 3 games, but in reality they didn't. But I'm just I'm not a bunch of bullshit, bunch of bull caca. What was that? I have never heard anyone say that ever about any game. Well, on paper we won, but in reality we didn't. What? What? And this is what I don't like about Kenny Atkinson, right? You lost the game. What are we doing? You're down 3-0. We should not be talking about analytics at all. At all. And even he saw the confusion on the reporter's face as he's making these comments. He's like, well, technically, analytically, in Narnia, in another universe, in a reality that isn't this one, we won 2 out of those 3 games. And they sitting there like, huh? You know what the fuck he just said? Do you know what he just said? Because I don't get it. In 5 seconds, he made everybody scratch all their hair out. What are you talking about? And see, when it comes to coaching, when it comes to how you perform, you cannot have somebody who is making delusional statements like that. You can't. That is a cancer to your locker room. That is a cancer to your locker room. Why? Because he's not holding anybody accountable. Hell, he's not even holding himself accountable. He is living in a realm of delusion, and he just told you so. And see, this is the thing. If you want to be a success in your life, if you want to make it to the top, if you want to get done what it is that you dream of getting done, you have to have a level of realism about you. You cannot go out there, take an L, and be like, no, but I really won. What? What? And if you don't believe me, let's watch this reaction. That shows he don't know nothing about basketball. Oh man, I'm super struggle streaming. I don't even know what that played. I just saw your message from Aaron Animal. Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go back, but I'm struggle streaming, y'all. I'm struggle streaming. I gotta be better. Listen, I'm working on it. All right, look, we gonna go back. It probably did that for the last video too, but we gonna go back. I'm struggle streaming. I apologize. See, I can hold myself accountable. This ain't game 4. I'm not down 3-0. But I can hold myself accountable for my mistakes. You see what I'm saying? I messed up on the sound. Y'all didn't hear nothing that he said. But I'm going to play it again.
Hey, to my Cleveland Cavaliers fans, this is something that somebody ain't gonna tell y'all. Y'all coach ain't holding y'all stars accountable. James and Donovan Mitchell ain't trying to guard nobody. When y'all was playing the Pistons, pivotal game, Donovan Mitchell on Cade Cunningham, so instead of guarding his yard, he waving for help. James ain't trying to guard nobody against New York. So, and your coach come out and say it ain't James or Donovan fault, it's a team fault. No. Your coach got to be able to coach through his stars. Pop got on Tim and Dave more than anybody, so how can he not get on the rest of the guys? You got to be able to teach through your stars so the rest of the team will buy in. It's game 4. Donovan Mitchell, you talking about game 1, the 20-point swing will change the series. But y'all still worried about game 1. That shows y'all quit. Your coach talking about he can't watch the game because he don't think y'all lost because y'all won analytically. Cleveland fans, y'all coach ain't holding y'all teams accountable. And that shows he don't know nothing about basketball. Facts.
All right, there we go. So hopefully y'all heard that part. But here it is. He don't know nothing about basketball. Why? You have guys who are still stuck on game 1. Still stuck on game 1. Still talking about game 1. Why? Because game 1 was such a disaster that that's all they can think about. And that's why they lost all those other games. It's a cascading effect. And I was going to bring that up even before playing the clip. But, you know, when you have those moments, you have to capitalize. How many times have I talked about that? Even in videos not relating to sports, when it is your time, you got to strike. When opportunity opens the door, you have to, if the door starts to creak open, you have to kick it open the rest of the way and walk through. And here it is. They were up 24 points in the fourth quarter. And you know what they said? Oh, we can chill now. We good. We got them. Let's pack this on up. We got game 1. And you know who didn't quit? The Knicks sure didn't. They said, oh, that's what they got? All right, let's go. Because we want it. You saw in this series who wanted it more than the others. Who wanted it more than the others? And that game 1 was a psychological blow to our star, Donovan Mitchell. He has to be accountable as well. Now, the fact that Kenny up here talking about he can't watch the games, analytically, we won 2 of the game. What? And see, that's where I say, nah, homie, you got to step down. You got to step down. I'm going to give y'all a better example. Didn't have as good of a result this year in their playoff run. The Los Angeles Lakers. Now, they just got J.J. Redick, I think, last year. And he came in. J.J. Redick is probably, like, I would say he needs a chill pill because he might be at risk of having an aneurysm or a heart attack or something. He be over on the bench breaking stuff, yelling, screaming, turning all types of red. You don't see any of that from Kenny. During these playoffs, in the crunch time, especially in this Knicks series, where did I see Kenny? I saw Kenny sitting his ass down on the bench like an assistant. Sitting there right there amongst the assistants. Mike Brown stood up the whole game. At least most of the game, Mike Brown was standing. You know, when you see guys going like this, talking about review something, challenge. I didn't see Kenny I think he used 1 challenge in this entire series. He won it, but then why didn't you use the other ones in those other predicaments? You get a certain number of challenges. Use them. Get a technical foul, man. Do something to rally your team. And I don't think that Kenny has the emotional capacity to even do that. I just don't. I don't think that he looks at the game in any way past analytics. And that is why we keep getting the results that we're getting. That's why we keep getting the results that we're getting. See, analytics is cool when you're studying stats, right? Analytics is cool when you're studying stats but that's after you get a certain outcome. You know, it's cool to say, oh, this person averaged 38 points per game at the end of the season. You don't do that before shit even starts. Oh, well, we ran the numbers and we expect you can't never go with what you expect. How does the saying go? You want to make God laugh, you tell him your plans. Well, we expect. Need I say more? All the basketball guys got to laughing at you. They said, look at this man living in the land of Delulu, him and his analytics. And that's what I hate about analytics, for real. Because analytics will tell you, oh, taking a lot of three-pointers is the best way to score a lot of points. Duh, but if you aren't making any three-pointers, you're not going to score a lot of points. You're just not. Right? If you give up wide open 2-point jump shots for three-pointers that you're not making, are you scoring any points? Oh, no. The answer's no. That's what I thought. Analytics doesn't tell you. Guys need to move their feet in order to play defense. Guys need to move their feet in order to play defense. There needs to be a level of effort for you to win the game. These are the kinds of things that we're talking about. And this is what was missing from this Cavs team. This is what was missing from this Cavs team. I want to go to another clip right quick.
No one wants to hear that. All right? No one wants to hear that. What? Dan Gilbert don't want to hear that. When he said,
I told y'all.
Everyone is outcome based. And sure, I mean, I get that too. He said it like it's tomato. It is so ridiculous what he said. He does come off, because he was saying what he's telling the players and stuff. He does come off, I don't know what he's like in the locker room, but like a coach that doesn't want to really be hard-nosed with his players. I mean, just even with Harden, you know, saying the stuff like he's been one of our best defenders and all that. The bottom line is they are not close. And, I mean, they're being outscored by 14. Everything the Knicks are winning. Analytics, and this is for every team, it doesn't take into account heart, guts, who shrinks under the bright lights, who gets better under the bright lights. Analytics is all paper, right? It doesn't chemistry in the locker room. Will these guys get on? It takes into account none of that, and that's why they're down 3-0 when they should be up. They're really up 2-1. No.
Now, I agree with most of what he said, right? I agree with most of what he said, but this is the problem. When you have a guy who only looks at analytics, he's coming off as the coach who's not hard-nosed. No shit. No shit. I don't see any type of anger in his demeanor at all. No level of embarrassment. No nothing. There's no way in hell you can sit there and make those kinds of statements after an embarrassing loss like that if you were more than a numbers guy. You should not be looking like this in the game. You just shouldn't. There wouldn't be a single smile on my face at all. Matter of fact, I might be late to the press conference. They might catch me on the microphones yelling at people. I might sit there in the press conference yelling at people. I might make the whole team go sit out there with the press folks. You go and sit out there, let the press folks ask me questions. And I'm going to point to people in the room. I'm going to yell at people in the room. You have to do something to get these guys to buy in. You have to do something to get these guys wanting to play and wanting to win the game. You just sitting there and talking about, well, analytically, don't worry, guys. Analytically, we won 2 out of the 3 games. What? And I can't believe that he came out to say that on TV, like in an interview. What? Now, if it was something, of a larger point you were trying to make, well, look here, listen up, guys. Like, we need to make our reality match the analytics. We need to make sure that our effort is matching these analytics, because analytically, we should have won 2 out of the 3 games. Should have. That is the important key word that you have to put in there. You can't say, well, analytically, we won 2 out of 3. And I don't know why everybody's focused on outcomes. I know you guys are just looking at outcomes. Yeah, because outcomes are what really happened, Kenny. You sound like an idiot. You sound like an idiot. You sound like the dude who just looks at paper. And you know what? The dude who just looks at paper, he's an assistant coach. He's not a head coach. I don't see you changing any of the schemes up for real. You've got like your desperation adjustments, but that's about it. We did not see any winning basketball. I don't see you attacking the mismatches the same way the Knicks did. Now, granted, they had a lot of players who were in rhythm. But you have to know things like OG Anunoby's just coming off an injury. Why don't we attack him? Make him work. I'm not saying try to get him injured, but make him have to work. Jalen Brunson, defensive liability. Run everything past him. Make him work. Make him beat us on the defensive end. He can't do that. Instead, you got Donovan Mitchell dribbling for 1,000 hours and James Harden dribbling for 2,000 hours, and nobody's getting a quality shot up. I tell James Harden, stop with all the tween stuff and get into your action a lot faster so that we can get things moving. I don't need you dribbling until there's 3 seconds left on the shot clock, and then you try to make some pass, and it's either going out of bounds or going to a next player. This whole playoff series, James Harden had more turnovers than I can even remember. Like, he had something like 70 turnovers. Completely and utterly crazy. Why is that even allowed? And then you had the gall, the unmitigated gall, to say that James Harden was one of your best defensive players in what? This is why I said, that right there is assistant coach behavior, because you are not living amongst the people in reality. You are not living amongst the people in reality. There is no way I would have allowed the level of effort that I saw. I would have taken everybody off the floor just to prove a point. I would have taken every single player off the floor for I don't know how much time, just to prove a point. Brunson gets free. Just to prove a point. Excuse me, I'm struggle streaming, y'all. I'm looking for my other clip that I was trying to play. Shout out to the struggle stream, man. Let's take a quick break. We gonna say shout out to the struggle stream once again. Hey, Aaron Animal, if you watching, how was your holiday, my boy? What'd you do? You cook anything? No, I ain't gonna lie. I know my boy likes to cook and he likes to chef it up. So I'm wondering if he made anything for the holidays. If he's listening, we'll find out. We'll see. If you're watching, tell me what you made in the chat. Here it is. I was searching for my post here. James Harden, 86 field goals made, 74 turnovers. 74 turnovers? That's more than some teams combined. 74 turnovers? That is crazy. There is no way, as a coach, I'm letting that go. There's no way. Okay, all right. Went to the in-laws lake house. Shout out Aaron Animal. All right. Hey, that's kind of a boss move right there. Did they cook? Did they make anything good? I wish I could have went to a lake house. I did go by the lake. I went and drove to the lake and sat out there for a second. I also went and walked through the park by my house. I did like a mile or two walking outside, just enjoying the weather and relaxing and stuff like that. And then came home and I cooked on Sunday. Made a couple side dishes and just like pre-cooked some stuff. So then I just heated it up and, okay, all right. Brother-in-law was cooking on the grill. All right, all right. Hey, man, next time you got to show them what you got. You got to put your skills out there. Speaking of which, I'm trying to do y'all gonna see me talk to my homie for a second, but I'm trying to do like a little cookout or something soon. We got to get everybody together, do a little cookout. So I'll talk to you in the background about that. But back to the Cavs. Because I wanna wrap this on up fairly quickly because I'm coming up on an hour on this topic. But now I want to talk about Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, to be quite honest, because they're both stars of the team. James Harden, he was being looked at more as the number 2. Donovan Mitchell, this was his team. But, you two have to perform better. Now, I talked about James Harden and his turnovers. I've talked about the lack of effort on the defensive end, but that exists for both players. And the team only goes as far as you two. The team only goes as far as the star players. And when your star players are not playing well, and it's not so much about, not shooting well and things like that. I'm talking about pure effort. Because sometimes you're not going to have the greatest shooting night, right? Sometimes you could be doing all the right things and the ball just will not go in the hoop. But your team will be able to help lift you up if they see, okay, he's trying and he's putting in effort and things just not working out. This was not that. And you could tell, okay, Donovan may have been a little bit gassed, but you could tell that there were times where he just didn't know what to do. Offensively, it's like I'm doing my dribble moves and these guys aren't going for it. Well, I have to go back to Kenny for a second. This is the problem when you don't have plays. You don't run plays. You should be running plays beyond just screen to get guys open. And this is kind of the problem with the NBA now. The NBA, in and of its whole, has become more analytic, and it's, we'll just find the open guy for three. What if he misses? You don't have any set plays where it's, all right, we're going to get this particular guy going. We're going to get Donovan Mitchell going. We're going to set we're going to put some things in motion. We're going to set some down screens, some screens on the baseline where he can free himself up and get a 2-point jump shot. If they're playing zone, attack the middle, get a 2-point jump shot. But instead, we just look for 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. And if you're Donovan Mitchell, you have to be able to see when certain shots aren't working. You're a little, I'm about to run down the court and take a 3 inside the first 6 seconds of the shot clock. It hardly ever works, but it wasn't working. You have to be able to adjust your game. And as the leader of the team, that's something that you really have to do. That's just something that you really have to do. I got a clip here.
It's not over yet, but is there a lesson specifically from getting this far that maybe you hadn't learned before that you would be able to carry with you if you got this opportunity again?
Don't lose game 1 after being up 22. Changes the entire dynamic of the series.
It's not over yet, but
And that is after game 3. I talked about it before. Your mindset is what shows everything. You're up here sitting talking about game 1, and it is game 3. That's how we knew it was over. That's how we knew it was over. You can't blow that lead, but also you have no ability to move on. You had no ability to move on. So now you can't even approach game 2, game 3, game 4, because you still stuck. And I want you all to take that as a lesson, especially if you're the captain of your ship. If you were the captain of your ship in your life, you got a family or some things like that, something didn't go well, you're going to have to learn how to move on. You cannot be stuck on it for too long, because you're not going to be able to move anything forward if you're stuck in the past. How do you move and be stuck at the same time? You don't. You got to pick one. And as we see here with Donovan Mitchell, as we see here with the rest of the team, they got stuck. And now they are all figuring out their flight plans for Cancun. Oh, and by the way, they also cleaning up trash after getting swept. That is pretty embarrassing. And, I hate that it happened against the Knicks, because the Knicks always have a way of turning the Cavs into like the little brother. Turning the Cavs into like the little brother. And, that is going to be pause, but that's going to be the monkey that's on Donovan Mitchell's back for a while. A lot of these playoff ends, a lot of these playoff knockouts have been at the hands of the Knicks. I think it's like 3 out of the last 4 have been at the hands of the Knicks. So this year's one. Not last year. Last year was the Patriots, but the year before that, I want to say they lost in the second round to the Knicks. Or was it? No, it was to Boston. The year before that, it was to the Knicks. So it's like, what do we have going on here? Let's see. I just looked it up. Yeah, excuse me. Not the last 3, but 2 out of the last 4 have been to the Knicks. And so, all of that's going to play into his mental. The whole reason we even took the number 4 spot was because we didn't want to face the Knicks or the Celtics in that first and second round. And we still lost to them. So, that's another reason why I didn't really like that move, because it's like, well, we're going to see one of them at some point. We're going to see one of them at some point. So we have to be able to do something. These are the things that hurt you, especially when it comes to that mindset. You took on from the very beginning, you had a losing mindset. You did not have a growth mindset from the beginning. All right, we're going to end it out with some funnier videos. They still about the Cavs, though. But funnier videos.
Come on, James. I don't know how much longer I can keep us afloat. I need some help. You're young. You got it. You haven't helped at all. I took a crap off the boat earlier. That got rid of like 8 pounds. Are you eating a sandwich? I get low blood sugar. Can you at least split it with me? I'm dying over here. Then I'd still be hungry. Plus, your hands are wet. It'll soak into the bread and it won't be yummy to you anyways. If you don't help me, I'm going to throw your fat ass off this boat. Come on, man. At least I'm doing better than that guy. You're useless, Jalen. Come on, James. I don't know how much longer.
I just thought that was pretty funny. I also like that like Instagram Riot Comedy. Y'all make sure y'all go and follow them. That they are pretty funny with their things. But now in terms of performing in this series, Donovan was doing a lot of the work, but what I saw was just kind of lackadaisical effort from James. I think that, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think that James, for some odd reason, he gets in these like big light situations and he just disappears. Like he is not nearly the same player. And I'm not sure where that comes from. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it's been the year after year of disappointing exit. Maybe it has something to do with all the times he was in Houston. But like underperforming is now his calling card. It is now his legacy. And I got into quite a few back and forths on Instagram when the James Harden trade was made because I was not supportive. I think it was the worst trade that we made. And after seeing this result, I kind of stand by it. I knew that James was going to underperform in the playoffs. I knew that, look, the man's 37. He's not going to be Houston Rockets James Harden. But even Houston Rockets James Harden underperformed. So even when he was at his best, he underperformed. So what do we expect as Cavaliers fans, moving forward? What do we expect from this year? Well, analytically, James Harden has won 6 championships. Analytically. But in reality, he hasn't won jack shit. Been to the conference finals. This may be his 3rd time out of the 17 years that he's been to the playoffs. He's only been to the finals once, and that was when he was a number 3. He was the 6th man on the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he hasn't been back since. And I think that is telling. James Harden, he has wanted his own team, and he, did his thing in Houston, but that style of play has never been conducive to winning. And I'm not the only person that thinks so.
I think I'm not a fan of in terms of winning championships. I don't think that style is ever going to win championships. But at the same time, you have to keep your team's head above water to win games. So you have to do what you have to do to win games, and he's doing that. Right now, I think.
So are you saying you don't think James Harden and the Rockets, as constructed, can win a title?
Not with this style of play, it won't win.
There you have it. From one of the GOATs himself. I have, there's a reason they call it Mamba mentality. Because Kobe had a mentality of no matter what, I'm going to go out there and get it done. Even when they, didn't do as well as you thought that they could, you knew it was not because of a lack of effort on the part of Kobe Bryant. You knew that. But in every case here, you can see that it is because of a lack of effort from James Harden. And I don't want that to start to rub off onto Donovan Mitchell. Because it's starting to seem that way. It is starting to seem that way.
Cool stretch marks. Are those from giving birth or Ozempic? That's enough regular season, James. Come on. What's your deal, bro? I'm trying to get chubbed up over here. Playoff James is my deal. I can't play with that guy anymore. What's he doing? Nothing. He's all fat and re-read out. He just stands around on defense and picks his ass. Yeah, he does that. Before you know it, so will you. What are you talking about? You and me are the same. You play great in the regular season, and then the playoffs roll around. Between that choke job you had last year against the Pacers and now against the Knicks, people are saying they haven't seen a choke artist like you since Kim K on Ray J. People are saying that? Not yet, but they're gonna. It's best you accept it now and pop a squat next to your buddy and throw nickels at these girls' cracks. You got any extra nickels? Cool stretch.
I don't want that type of behavior to rub off on Donovan Mitchell. I simply don't. And you can see it. That is kind of where the legacy is headed. And I really, really hope that it doesn't.
This is turnover. Okay, how many players are sprinting and running? You got two players jogging. And that to me is, we're talking about championship basketball. We're talking about trying to get to the NBA Finals. And regardless of if your team is making shots, can you control the controllables?
Can you control the controllables? The controllables are your effort. The amount of energy that you are putting in, the heart that you are putting in. And right there, that sums up the entire series. You got one team, they want it so bad that they are willing to go out there and run and take it. And the other team is jogging back. You got two guys jogging. In the first half of this game tonight, the New York Knicks had 26 fast break points in a half. That's more than some teams get in an entire game. And the Cavs just let them do it. That is part of the problem. That is why we as Cavs fans feel embarrassed by this sort of turnout. You cannot perform like that. You simply can't. And once again, I have to bring that back to Kenny Atkinson. What kind of coaching is that? How do you let your team do that? Now, I do like this. This is Donovan Mitchell yelling during a timeout or something. But even still, as I'm looking at this, I really only see one guy really listening. And that's Jared Allen. Jared Allen's like, yeah, you're making a lot of sense. Yep. I agree with you, Donovan. Yep. We got to want to win. Yep. What he said. Everybody else just kind of standing there. Sam Merrill ain't even looking. James Harden is just sitting back. You know, you can't have. I applaud him for taking that role of trying to be the leader, but you can't have that on the bench. You can't have that on the bench. I'm going to go to one more. Hold on. Oh, shoot.
The lack of hustle by the Cavaliers tonight. Kenny Atkinson should be thrown into a lake. How does Michael Bridges just run past Strauss? Have you in your life ever seen 5 people on defense on top of each other? Harden looks like he's gonna finger Mitchell in the ass. Like, what in the fuck is Jared Allen?
Sorry, YouTube. I didn't know he even said that. Oh, my gosh. Pause.
As if he's not in the game. Hello, you stupid, lanky cone hater. You might just get the ball back. How are you out of bounds? If you don't know after 4 games that James Harden can't guard Jalen Brunson, you're on meth. So I need someone to explain to me what Jared Allen is doing and how nobody is helping this fucking waffle on defense. I'm not sure how it's.
And I'm going to move my camera so y'all can see this.
Not knowing how
This
to
is
play
what they think about
transition
James.
defense. Again, you got 5 guys fingering each other's assholes, man.
Hey, pause. Hey, yo, I got to stop it right there because pause on all that. Whoa, that was crazy. That was crazy. I get the point, but hey, bro. He got to chill with that one. But, you know, we're looking at game 4. And it's like, what kind of coaching is this? Where's the communication? Where's the team play? I don't know. And I'm running out of, I mean, I don't have the answers, but I'm running out of steam even trying to think about it. But one other point that I did want to bring up, and this is, I think I'm going to do a separate video where I might record it and do like a full season recap so that I can kind of talk about everything as a whole as well. Because there's some other points that I want to make just about the regular season too. But here's my other thing, right? Here's my other thing. The progression, and I would say regression, of Evan Mobley. This season and in this playoffs, he's done all right actually in this playoffs. But, you know, over the course of the season, Evan Mobley has not ascended at all. At all. Last season, he was the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. Congratulations, shout out to him. He played very well on defense, especially last year for us. But this year, crickets. A shell of what he was. I'm talking about he was averaging 2, close to 3 blocks per game last season. And this season, I don't know what he did. Let's look it up. No. Okay, he averaged actually better blocks this season, but I don't know about that. Because to me, watching some of these games, it was not pretty. Not on defense. And the league doesn't think so either. You know, last year, I think he was first team all defense, winning defensive player of the year, all of that. And if we look right here, we see that the all defensive first team does not include Evan Mobley. And neither does the second team. Now, I don't know if they have a third team all defense, but I don't know if he would be on it. He is not on either one of the all defensive teams. And I think that is an issue. I think that is an issue. Part of what made Evan Mobley so good last year was his defense. And that is missing. That is missing. You know, he was supposed to be the defensive monster for us. And we're not seeing that this year. Guys would actually attack him in order to score, especially in the Detroit series. Guys were trying to attack him. In that Toronto series, guys were trying to attack him. They were not afraid of Evan Mobley. So let's see. Do they have a third team? Nope. Yeah, there is no all defensive third team. They have an all NBA third team. But there's no all defensive third team. So he's not even in the all defensive team. I think that's a problem. I genuinely think that that's an issue. And that's part of, why we didn't get anywhere with that either. That's part of why that's part of our struggles right there. I think that he regressed in that aspect. He does not affect the game the same way. All right, well, I'm a little bit over time, so I'm gonna finish out with some of the clips that I wanted to show everybody, the more funny clips. And you know what? It is at the Cavs' expense because they earned it. They earned these clips. So we're gonna watch this one first.
Come on, man, let us out of here. Yeah, I gotta take a dump. You'll dump in the bucket.
What's wrong with them, doctor?
I'm afraid they both have hantavirus. It's an acronym for playoff pants pooping virus.
How is that an acronym?
We don't know if it's contagious, so we need to keep them in quarantine. What's it do to them? It makes them crap their pants under bright lights. The brighter the lights, the bigger the crap. Watch. Will James be ready by Game 7? There's no way to know, but probably not. James has carried the virus for over a decade now.
Don't worry, Jalen. You can beat this.
You guys want to watch them crap their pants again?
Yes.
Terrible, terrible work. Terrible work. Y'all go and check out Riot Comedy. They have other funny videos like that. I just thought that was hilarious because it's very fitting. And like I said, they earned it. They earned it. Now, this next video is something interesting to me. I'm going to play it first.
James Harden will retire as a top 3 shooting guard of all time.
You can't give me a reason why he's better than Dwayne Wade. He's not better defensively. Dwayne Wade had his peak offensively, averaged 35 points per game in the NBA Finals over the course of 3 or 4 games. James doesn't do that. In fact, when we talk about playoffs, he averages 24 points per game for his career. What does he average in the playoffs?
You're forgetting
22 points per game,
right,
which means his efficiency and his scoring doesn't even stay up. He performs way less in the playoffs. When you look at Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Dwayne Wade, they overperform in the playoffs because that's what top 3 players do.
But James Harden will retire as...
And there has been this great debate that has sparked about who is better between the two players, Dwayne Wade or James Harden. And I'm biased because Dwayne Wade is probably my second favorite shooting guard of all time. Now, I don't call him the second best. He's just my second favorite. My favorite being Michael Jordan. Second, Dwayne Wade. But if we're talking about the best, Michael Jordan, Kobe, then Dwayne. Michael Jordan, Kobe, then Dwayne. Nobody has played with the level of heart. I mean, yes, they have, but like very few players have played with the level of heart that I saw Dwayne Wade play with in the 2006 NBA Finals, where it was him and the Miami Heat versus the Dallas Mavericks. That series was utterly amazing. And it is what separated Dwayne Wade from the rest of the league. He carried this team on his back. Carried them on his back. and he made sure that they won. And for anybody to even suggest that James Harden is better than D Wade, I want to know what kind of crack you are smoking. Pause. But what are you taking? Because you are tripping. You're tripping. And you're tripping hard. There's no way you can even think about saying that. James Harden has not reached the heights that Dwayne Wade has, really on any level. I mean, he's gotten an MVP. He's gotten the same amount of all NBAs. That's cool. He's gotten the All-Stars. That's cool. Dwayne Wade has Finals MVP, which, I mean, it's important to have an MVP. Your individual stats are recognized. But at the same time, Dwayne Wade has been to what? 5 finals, 6 finals? Whereas James Harden has only been to 1. And the one that he did make it to, he was the 6th man. Dwayne Wade has never been the 6th man. Ever. So, this is kind of what I'm talking about. When Dwayne Wade came into the league and went to Miami, it was his team. James Harden came into the league, it was somebody else's team. I don't want to hear none of that debate. None of that. That debate. I'd rather hear the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan debate. I would rather hear that debate, and everybody knows how I feel about that debate. But there is no way. No one will ever say that Dwayne Wade underperformed in a playoffs. Not to that level. No one will ever say that Dwayne Wade himself and him only choked in a playoff series. No. That has never been a part of his legacy. You can never say that. So anybody who says they'll take James Harden over Dwayne Wade, they're crazy. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. We don't even have to see anybody want to talk about stats and all that. You're Kenny Atkinson. You're analytical. You read paper. That's it. You live in the land of delusion where you won 2 out of 3 games, even though in reality you are sitting at 3-0. Or 0-3. Absolutely not. I'm going to finish up with this last video. I told you they earned it today. Shout out to Riot Comedy.
I'm so tired. Come on, Donovan, you've made it to the Eastern Subpeak. Now just a little further to the final summit. It would be a lot easier to make it if I wasn't carrying you. I know, buddy, but we can do this. Now mush. Cat, look, somebody finally made it. How long have you guys been up here? Long enough to get well rested and build a fire.
Jalen, how many wieners do you think I can fit in my mouth?
James, if we're gonna
Pause.
advance these guys, you have to help me.
Hey, yo. Hey,
Donovan,
yo.
I'm doing it. I knew you could. Donovan, delete my internet ladyboy history.
Hey, yo.
Okay, Cat, up to the final summit. Let's do it. Oh my God, I'm so tired.
Shout out to Riot Comedy. They are hilarious. Hey, yo, y'all gotta pause with some of these things, man. I gotta start screening some of these too. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. I hope that next year is different. I hope that, I would love, like I think I said this in like another live, but I would love to see somebody come out with the mindset of Tim Duncan. When Tim Duncan lost in the finals to the Miami Heat, and that first time that they faced off, he came out and said in his press conference, next year we will be back. I hope that we're in this position against the same team and the result will be different. So I want somebody from the Cavs to go and see that interview. I want them to put that in their mind, and I want them to play it every single day so that next year they get into the same position and then they make the result different. Get rid of this delusional guy. Get rid of his delusional teachings. Get rid of his delusional mindset. Let's start working in reality, and let's make next year better. But enjoy that trip to Cancun, y'all. Enjoy it. If it was up to me, wouldn't nobody even be going on vacation. Training camp would start tomorrow. But that's not the way it works. So y'all enjoy y'all vacation. I will be enjoying the rest of the basketball games just like they will from the couch. All right. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope you all have a great start to your week tomorrow. If you were watching, thank you for watching. Shout out to my boy Aaron Animal. He did my mic check for me and all of that. And hey, I just want to wish everybody happy holidays. And thank you all for watching. Tune in this week. I will be doing some other videos. Just got to get my notes together and all of that, but they are on the way. Keep a lookout for those. And yeah, shout out to all my subscribers. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. We building each other up over here. That's men, that's women, that's everybody. And as I always